This next verse, 528, is very closely tied in with the previous verse, which was covered in the previous video. So if you haven't watched the previous video, it really is quite important to do so. We've been addressing our unenlightenment. We're unenlightened because we're caught in a trap. This trap is the relationship between me and the world. It's like a bar magnet with two poles. There's tension between the two, between me and the world. And one pole, the me pole, is referred to as the Parikalpita, and the other pole, the pole that's the world, is referred to as the Paratantra. And in the previous verse, we found ourselves moving away from ideas about the world to our fundamental experience, which is one of limitation or resistance, symbolized by matter. So we're told in the next verse, 528, apart from oneness and otherness, the Parikalpita is not knowable. So with matter and impermanency, how can one speak of their being and non-being? So oneness and otherness, the oneness is the one here and the otherness is everything else. It's only within this context that we can actually talk about the Parikalpita within the context of this relationship, these two poles of the relationship. I suspect the point here is that it's such a juicy word that we want to get our head around it, Parikalpita, and the other one, Paratantra. It's got tantra in it. Juicy words that we'd like to get a handle on. But really what they're doing is they're pointing us to practice, to observe what is actually going on, rather than our ideas about what is going on. So for example, let's take matter. This is a good one. Matter is an idea. What are we actually experiencing? We don't experience matter. We experience resistance. We experience limitations to movement. And there's always limitations to movement. This is part of consciousness experiencing itself. There has to be limitations to movement. So we're also told that apart from oneness and otherness, matter and impermanency are not knowable. We only talk about them within the conventional context. That assumes there's a me here experiencing a world out there. But this is not our direct experience. This is an idea about our experience. So how can one speak of their being and non-being? You might wonder, well, why should you want to speak of their being and non-being? What we're getting caught up in here is philosophical debate. The nature of the self. Is there such a thing as the self, as the me? The personal identity. Is there such a thing as the world? We're often told that it's insubstantial and all the rest of it. But all these ideas are useless unless we actually apply them. And this is what happens in the next verse. Verse 529. When the Parikalpita is thoroughly understood, the Paratantra is not born. When the Paratantra is understood, the Parikalpita becomes Suchness. I think that Suchness should have a capital S. So when the Parikalpita is thoroughly understood, this is appreciating an avenue of direct inquiry, because what we can examine is what is going on here. And what is going on here are a lot of sensations, a lot of thoughts, ideas, feelings, emotions. That's what's going on here. And this is what determines my take on the world. It determines my Paratantra. So when I can see what's going on here, and when I'm practicing and observing this, the Paratantra is not born, because it's nothing more than a concept, an idea, useful for conventional purposes. But when I'm practicing, as enlightenment practitioners, when we're practicing and coming back through this morass of experiencing the sensations, thoughts, ideas and so on, when we come back to the awareness which is holding all this is actually like the bar magnet itself, which is generating the field. We've moved from the magnetic field to the actual bar magnet. Then it isn't just the Paratantra that's not born. Notions of a me, an individual self, are not born. There's just this awareness. And the Paratantra is understood as a function of this. It's not born. And we've come back to this awareness, the awareness which holds, which is aware of everything that's going on. Then we're practicing. And this Parikalpita, this generator of the world, we move beyond that as well. And come back to Suchness.